Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Only be concerned with one man from a woman's past. You know what, there's always this big deal, big talk about a woman's body count, women's body count. And of course there's different opinions on it, different views. Some guys are like, you know what, it really don't matter as long as you turn them out. Other guys saying, oh nah, she's spoiled, she's used and all of that. And it's been like that for millennia. Let's just be real, this ain't some recent thing. It's been like that for millennia. And indeed, that's why a lot of many cultures have put into place cultural practices to ensure that a woman is a virgin. Because of course, we know about the imprint and everything. And just to be clear, imprint is simply, you know, psychological blueprint of the first 2 or 3 men that a woman has slept with. But it doesn't mean they turned her out. That's a whole other conversation, and I've talked about that before. But right now, I'm talking about the only man that someone should be concerned with, a man should be concerned with in a woman's past. Let me give you a scenario. You got 2 women. A man meets 2 women. One has had sex with 20 men. And I know some guys are like, if she had sex with 3 men. But she's had sex with 20 men. You got another woman, she's only had sex with 1 man. I'm gonna tell you what. And so if a guy going to choose, now most guys will automatically say, oh, I'll get the woman with 1 man. The woman with 20 men might actually be better for you. And I'm gonna tell you why. And not in terms of she good at sex or anything, because of one thing, the one man that any man should be concerned with, the man that a woman was emotionally close to. So in the scenario I just gave, the woman with 20 who had slept with 20 men, she didn't feel anything for any of the 20. You know, the sex was like on just different levels. In fact, I'm gonna share a video, one of my more popular videos, where I talked about the 5 types of sex a woman will have. You know, she could have had some pity sex with some guys. She could have had just something to do sex and stuff. She could have had just some transactional sex with some of the guys and everything. It could have been in a relationship, but she still wasn't like close to him. And even when it's just pure lust, she still might not have had an emotional connection. See, contrary to popular belief, women can have pragmatic sex. Now, some guys don't want to believe that. That's because you haven't dealt with enough women. Women can be very pragmatic. They can be cold-blooded. Sometimes they just need some D. Sometimes a man to them is just a breathing dildo. They just want that feeling. They ain't tripping over who they get it from. They don't have any emotional connection. You know, it could be an acculturated prostitution situation. Like I've known of plenty situations, plenty, from the man's point of view and the woman's point of view, where a woman just gave a man some because he spent some money on a date for her and she felt an obligation. Women do it all the time. Women do it all the time. And any man who's had sex enough, he'll realize that woman ain't really into it. She's saying all the stuff, but she's just there. She's just there. And indeed, sexually, sometimes a woman isn't there. Sometimes her body is there while she's having sex with a man, but her mind's someplace else. And like I said, it could be for myriad reasons. Myriad reasons, right? All right, but she's not close to none of them. She doesn't feel a thing for them. It's like nothing. But then you get that, and you know, some guys will say, well, I would want the woman with 1 man. And before I get into that, I know some smart asses will say, well, I want a virgin. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Because even technical virgins, many of them have either sucked someone's dick, some man's dick, or had anal sex, okay? So the woman legitimately had sex with just 1 guy. She might have been in a relationship. She could be a bigger problem. Why? Because she was emotionally close to that guy. She was in a long-term relationship with him. You know, that emotions came in there. It wasn't like just a regular boyfriend-girlfriend thing. They just hang out and party. She was emotionally attached to him. He got inside of her, literally, not just physically. And, you know, plus if she just had sex with 1 man, that's definitely her imprint. So You know, she's emotionally tied to this guy. This guy has profoundly affected her life. And when they broke up, she didn't break up from him. Contrary to popular belief, many men will drop the women they're with. So for whatever reason, she dropped him. And even in cases, I mean, he dropped her. And even in cases, I was going to say that she dropped him, oh, she still got something. It might have been whatever, and she just had to get out of there because he could have been crazy or something. So she had to get out of there. But he still got her heart. He still got her heart. And that's the thing a man should be paying attention to. Don't get caught up in the numbers. See, one thing, if you ask her, she either going to tell you the truth or lie, and men don't like either one. So you need to be more concerned, like, well, you still pressed about. You need to ask her about that ghost. And especially if you're talking long term, you need to have a serious conversation and say, look, was there a guy in your life that you were really close to? And, you know, if you get her comfortable enough, she might tell you. But if she don't, I'm going to tell you what, here's what you start paying attention to. Pay attention to little things about her or keepsakes or anything. Pay attention. Does she keep pictures of a certain guy? Does she keep pictures of him? Seriously. She is pictures of them in like loving poses or something like that. Like on social media, does she still keep pics of him up? That's one very important thing, especially in this age. Does she still keep like a scrapbook of pictures of him around? Does she keep a keepsake? Does she got a tattoo of him? A tattoo. Look for those little things. Is there a certain type of, like you dealing with her and she said, hey baby, hey, you know, I really love this cologne on a guy. And you might not think about it. You thinking, oh, wow, she loved me. She got me some cologne. Yeah, that cologne belonged to that guy that she was emotionally attached to. And every single time she smells it, every single time she smells it, she might like it on you, but she's thinking about him. You know, is there a certain position that she's really down for? And it's deeper than, oh yeah, it just makes her feel a certain way. Or she's like, is she trying to change how you dress? Because that guy dressed the same way. That's who you need to be worried about. You got to worry about that ghost. And don't let her have several ghosts. Now, if she got several ghosts, that's when you should be worried. Worry about the ghost more than actual penetrations. Like, it might be 20 men. Don't worry about that. But it could be 3 ghosts. Worry about that. Worry about that because she hasn't got over him. She hasn't got over him. And she's always going to compare you to him in her mind. Even if he did some foul shit to her, she hasn't got over him yet. In fact, that's why I tell women, you know, when they break up from a guy, don't jump into another relationship. You know, I've told women that on my woman's channel. It's like, hey, chill out for a while. But you get some women that do that. And really, and even when they dealing with you, even when they deal with you. Now, here's a real fucked up scenario. You see him. You know what, you happen to see a picture of him. He's like, damn, he looks like he could be my cousin. That's what you need to be concerned with. Well, one, that's part of the imprint, but then emotionally, you know, look for anything, a keepsake, picture, something. Like if you go at her place, you see some artwork, just casually ask, hey, when'd you get this? Oh, how'd you get this? You know? And ultimately, if you're serious about it, like if you ain't serious about it, okay, whatever. But if you're serious about it, you need to sit down and have that serious conversation. And you need to be like, hey, what's going on? Like I dealt with a woman. I've dealt with a couple women and they would be talking about their exes and stuff. Or say, well, he did this, he didn't do that. And I'll be like, you know, because the first time it happened, I was like, well, shit, why'd you break up from him? And I'm not that person. But then after a while, I was like, oh, okay. Because I dealt with it maybe 1 or 2 more times. Right? And I was like, oh, okay. She's permanently in the sex partner category. She ain't over that dude. You know? Seriously, always try to find out. Always try to find out. And I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be hard. Because usually, that's the one guy they try not to talk about. Seriously. In fact, if they talk about a guy freely, okay, pay attention, but it's the one they might not talk about. And you find out the hard way. It was like, well, wait a minute, she never mentioned him. Or you go someplace and, you know, this guy come up and she's smiling and everything. It's like, hey, I ain't seen you in a while. You were like, damn, you never mentioned him to me. Seriously. Seriously, that's the one man you should be concerned about. Don't worry about it. Look, don't get caught up in the counts. Because like I said, you're either not going to like the number she gives or she's going to lie. Either way is fucked up. So you guys think, in those terms, you got to think, okay, who was she emotionally attached to? Worry about that guy. Be concerned. Like I said, like the scenario I gave, you know, the women who had 20 past partners could actually be better for you because she wasn't emotionally attached. And just to be clear, like I've said, it's a myth that women have to be emotionally attached to a man to have sex. I had some women break that down to me. They were like, you need to get out there more when I used to say shit like that. So, you know, that woman with 20 might not be emotionally attached to any of them. Like, it was just whatever. You might be the first one she's attached to, so she'd be good for you. But that woman who had just one man, just one, that's the one you gotta be worried about. That's the one, that's that ghost. And she ain't over that ghost, you know? That's the one you might have a good relationship with her and stuff. Shoot, get married, have kids, but then she's someplace and run into him. And then, you know, always joke about the my bad situation. Well, you ain't gonna have one. That's when she's like, you find out, hey, at lunchtime, she been going to a certain hotel. That series, I'm gonna tell you what. That series I talked about on Netflix, Sex Life. And I'll put a link to it. I'll put a link to when I was talking about it. That's when you need to be concerned, because in that series, it was that ghost. And she had been with plenty of men. That wasn't her imprint. Some people think that was her imprint. But that's coming from some people who really don't understand the imprint. That wasn't her first guy. But it was the one who got her emotionally, not just sexually. They focus on the sex, but he had her emotionally too. Because she had sex with plenty of men that wasn't close to him. But she was close emotionally to that one guy. Always pay attention to that. That's what you pay attention to. Who was she emotionally close to? All right? So anyway, that's all I got for today. Get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.